A very warm welcome to our hospital. I'm Sherwood McCaskey. As always, I'm pleased that you have joined us. Hospital orderlies play a crucial role in the healthcare system, providing essential support and assistance to medical professionals and ensuring the smooth functioning of hospitals and healthcare facilities. While their responsibilities may vary depending on the specific healthcare setting, the important role they play cannot be understated. This episode of Our Hospital and Celebrating Our Orderlies presents a number of the key aspects of the roles they perform in our hospital.
They not only porter patients, so they provide wheelchair services in and out of the hospital, and trolley services from department to department. But we have orderlies who specialize in A&E operations. We call them emergency room technicians. You will hear a little bit more about them from the heads of department who cover those in that area. We have orderlies who specialize and work directly in the surgical department. We have orderlies who cast, do castings for fractures. There's several other areas. We had orderlies who work specifically with oxygen and making sure the plant is up and running and portering the oxygen from ward to ward.
Well, the orderly is responsible for all non-emergency transport, both in and out of the hospital. That's whether we're transporting patients via vehicular service or wheelchair service or stretcher service. The vehicle service is mostly for persons who are unable to afford transportation for themselves, mostly in the areas where persons who are discharged from the hospital, and we will be responsible for assisting them to their homes. It's very welcomed, especially in areas where persons who cannot afford, because of the specialty that we provide with the stretchers and stuff like that. Sometimes persons are, the average transportation person would not be able to assist the person in their homes. So that's where they kind of benefit from our service, our transportation service.
Yes, the department is very busy, and being responsible for the accident emergency is a joy. I always grew up loving challenges, and to be involved in doing great work, especially when it's dealing with care, dealing in terms of, bringing relief and support services for persons who are in those kind of situations. So it was really up my street, so to say. The workload is very demanding, very heavy, because there's so many sections to cover, right? And while covering those sections, the demands are still there. And we try with all of our best to meet those challenges. We manage, right? Especially on a very hectic day, and that sometimes really gives us that boost, to really accomplish the task that is before us.
The role of a manager, shift leader, is never easy, and I have to be motivating my staff continually. It's not easy being the ERT. It's not easy dealing with life and death situations. And as a manager, I take the lead in not only directing my staff, but directing them from the front basically. So if there's any issue where the staff is not able to respond adequately, I take the lead in responding to that situation to make sure that it is dealt with to the standard that we have aspired to. I'm also responsible for maintaining a certain level of standard when it comes to training, and for training of the new officers, both ERTs and orderlies who come to the department. The AD department, as you may know or may not know, is divided into three parts. We have the respiratory section downstairs, which is the major part. Then we have the non-respiratory section. Then we have the Ward C3, which is part of A&E. So it stretches our manpower threefold, basically. We are paramedical we provide support and services to the both medical and nursing staff, so we take some of the load off of them. So my main responsibility would be from the screening. I assist the screening nurse in the vitals, even basic screening of patients, ECGs, we immobilize sprains, fractures, we provide dressings, we do CPR, which is critical. So as the first responders on the outside, we initiate CPR, which is key to preserving the life of any persons who may come in unresponsive, basically. We also provide assistance to the ambulance service in times of mass casualty, where we go and we lend that supporting service to them. The role of the ERT is key. The ERT is not only primarily in the department, but the role extends even to the outpatients department. There are a large amount of the public who goes to the outpatients department on any one day for the casting or removal of cast, and is more than the medical staff can handle on their own. So you can have approximately 30 to 40 patients at any one clinic day. So we provide the application and the removal of cast and different splits, the manipulation of different. So depending on the type of fracture a person may have, you have to apply that specific type of cast and having that knowledge. So it requires to be well trained and to keep yourself up to date with the different technologies and how things are done, basically.
Keen orderlies who recognize the important role they perform here in our hospital and the need to keep pace with their chosen vocation, all in an attempt to provide the best possible patient care here at our hospital. Now, speaking of good patient care, our orderlies perform several tasks. They are seen turning and repositioning patients to prevent bed sores, transporting patients to different areas of the hospital for tests or procedures, and ensuring their overall comfort and well-being. Cyril Taylor, Senior Orderly Supervisor, ensuring aspects of his journey, he calls attention to the orderly's dedication to duty.
Just a short time ago, 25 years ago, I would have graced the hospital. That was in 1998. I began as an orderly. And unlike now, the departments were not as much, but the work kind of evolved between then and now, where different specialties within the service would have evolved. I was responsible mostly for transporting persons to and from departments, wards, clinics, units. So it was more or less a hands-on job at that time. My main passion is to actually hear persons say thank you. Yeah, I know it's a job and it's what you were paid for, but sometimes you go above and beyond the call of duty, and to hear a person say thank you or job well done, that's special. That's really, really special.
And that comes when we are faced with some real challenges, such as mass casualties, right? Where that all hands are on deck, right? And it supersedes the time of the actual shift, right? And it's so overwhelming, right? Whereby that everyone plays their part to see that the task is covered and that we have gotten through. We were able to save lives. We are able to relieve the pain and bring comfort to not only to the patients but also to their relatives, because they're going to be concerned and they're going to jump at the department, or me coming because they want to see what's happening, what's going on, that kind of stuff.
I don't think the public is fully aware of the emergency room technician. And we have heard we've transitioned from just orderlies now to the emergency room technician. Some people may even mistake us for doctors or nurses, given the role as us. We're not sure. We also provide ECG to the patients. So again, our role may not be fully understood, and I'm hoping through this forum that people understand just that you have the EMT, emergency medical technicians, that are the emergency room technicians who provide key roles in the department, which is life-saving, and it speeds up the process in A&E, and it actually shortened patient to doctor time because of that.
Emergency room technician intakes of a number of areas. Train in the same mascazia as I mentioned, and that involves CPR. That is involved applying of plastic porridge in terms of casting, where we have the fracture, the orthopedics. It involves ECG, where we make sure that the necessary tests that's being rolled out, it is okay. We have the setting up of such a tray where we prepare for any stitches to be done. Catheterization trays, we prepare all of those things as a means to assist with the doctors and the nurses, because we are part of a team. We also involve in handling and lifting, because that is important. Sometimes we have to extract patients coming in from vehicles, and that is important. So all of that comprises of the training to be a part of the emergency room technician. And the CPR involved in the part of the team of resuscitation, where that when patients comes in there and they're coming very flat and they need a heart rhythm because of their no pulse, etc. This is where the team come together and they're trained in all of these areas. Setting up of the IV, where we provide the setting up the IV, but so that everything is in place for the doctor and the nurses, so that we have a quick response. And having that trained, we can be able to help in saving those patients.
I've known of patients who, because of our intervention, timely intervention in CPR, are alive today because of our CPR. Patients who would have come in with club feet like babies, the feet would have been angled out or angled in, and because we would have been trained to be on the application of the casting on a weekly basis, I've seen those feet corrected. Stab victims, we would have applied compression bandages, that kind of stuff. So we have seen people who have come out and thanked us for our timely intervention in that situation. We have assisted deliveries on the outside of vehicles, that kind of stuff. So our role is key to the hospital and is primarily to the accident and emergency department.
One of the things too that pleases me a lot is the fact that having to work with people, with patients and their relatives, and then on your personal life outside, and then you're walking in the street, in town, or in any places, you know, persons that can come up and remember you for something so long, you know what I mean, to say thank you. I have had an experience where that I was walking and I see this car pull brakes and this young lady jump out. I thought something happened. I didn't know she was coming in my direction. But then when she came in, she jumped. And she just wanted to say thank you, because she said she went back. And not only to me, but to the team, right? Because we have a strong team, yeah?
So one of the advancements, you begin as an orderly, but you can move up to be a departmental aide, where you work in the CSD preparing the sterilizing of equipment or gauze or those kind of things. You can move into the operating theater, where you can work as an anesthetic aide, working alongside the anesthetists and preparing the medication, the different drugs and the gases for the sedation of patients and preparation for surgeries, and monitor them through the time of their surgery.
One of the things that really touches me is to see the transition of the orderlies to the ERTs. And not just ERTs, we have a set of orderlies who would have moved from ERTs to EMTs, and from EMTs to nursing, to anesthetic aid. We have persons who would have come through the training, the same ERT training, and they have gone over to the police force and some to the fire service.
There was one time when I was responsible specifically for the vehicular transportation service, one of my drivers were on their way taking home a patient, and it was not his job, but he stand from the road, and in the distance he saw what appeared to him at the time was smoke. And he told me he asked his partner, his other driver, if he could see the smoke too, and the driver was like, yeah, it looked like a house or something is going to be on fire. And the driver said he stopped from going with the patient, and it was actually someone's house on fire. Yeah. That brought tears to my eyes, because not only was he concerned with who he was transporting, but he saw a potential danger, and there were two old people actually house on fire. That was special. That was special.
Very good news. They did what was necessary, and the elderly folks were saved. Now, orderlies are responsible for transporting patients within the hospital, whether it's to a different department, an operating room, or imaging center. They ensure that patients are safely and comfortably moved, taking into account any mobility restrictions or medical devices. Orderlies may also assist in the transportation of medical supplies, specimens, and documents, ensuring their timely delivery and accurate distribution. Our orderlies must be well trained. In fact, just like any other profession, there are the personal and professional attributes of the orderlies.
You have to be trained to be an orderly, because you have to have the various skills to, when you are conveying with the patients, you have to have that love. You have to be able to communicate. While you are doing those things, you are supposed to be able to, how you manage in terms of lifting the patient, in terms of how you're transporting the patient, because one of our main policies is to make sure that the patient is transported safely, comfortably, and timely. So all of that will require a level of training.
Well, in my honest opinion, I don't think we get our just deserve thanks. There are some areas where, for me, I would like the public to understand that we are here to serve you, and in some cases to assist you. There are some persons who are trained and have equipped skills, who are trained with lifting and handling. So they are versed in how to remove your relative, your family member. So just be patient with us. Work with us so we can work with you.
A plea from Cyril Taylor, the senior orderly supervisor, a man dedicated to his job of helping you here at our hospital. Now, here's something of their job in emergency support. During emergencies or critical situations, hospital orderlies are often called upon to provide immediate assistance. They may help in the evacuation of patients, setting up of emergency equipment, or supporting the healthcare team in delivering urgent care. Their knowledge of the hospital physical plan, the layout, equipment location, and patient transport protocol makes them valuable assets in times of crisis. James Gaskin is the orderly supervisor for the Accident and Emergency Department. He understands the anxiety that might consume the relatives of patients. He now offers a number of best practices, the things that you could do to make the experience here at our hospital more pleasing.
What I would say is that when they do come to the Accident Emergency Department, everybody wants to go in right away. They wants to be seen right away. And we are asking them to follow the procedures that are being outlined to them. We share with them in terms of the procedures and the protocols, right? It is not that we just take you in. Those are categorized in various categories where we deal with critical patients, such as we need emergency quick response. Those are the persons that will go in. So sometimes people will see patients come in and they come in right away. what type of that patient would be? A person that is known to have or suspected to have a heart attack, seizure, not responding, and these are patients who would need that quick response, right? And sometimes when we are full to capacity with so much patients, right? This is where sometimes we have that challenge, right? And that is one of the areas in which we want them to, just to work with us, to comply, and to know of these things because they are very important. Not that we're neglecting them, right? But these are critical patients. So we have trauma and non-trauma. So this is we categorize them in the various categories.
I would like the public to understand that we are ambassadors. In fact, our role are ambassadors. We are the first and we are the last in most cases to encounter patients, and our role is vital. So from orderlies to ERTs, our role is vital, and I pray that the public would see this and understand this.
Well, there are truly ambassadors for our hospital. No one would deny the important role they perform, as together we ensure that the best possible patient care is realized here at this institution. I'm Sherwood McCaskey. This has been Our Hospital. The series continues next week at the same time.